video clip you're about to see is about me cooking some tomatoes. Now I'll have to tell you my approach on cooking before you watch this. I tend to use a recipe simply as a roadmap. I don't follow things. I tend not to measure things. I know what I like, and that's the way I cook things. I think everyone should enjoy cooking. It shouldn't be, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to put too much of this or I'm not going to get enough of that. Uh, After you've cooked for a long time, you just know what you want to cook. So just a little word of warning before you start watching this. You're going to notice I don't follow a recipe. And the tomatoes that I'm cooking, I'm sure I've seen something on the Food Channel or something, because for many years I watched the Food Channel and have really learned a lot from watching programs like that. Hope you enjoy this video. Thanks. All right, it is September 6, 2019. I've been out to Pam's. Before I got to the garden this morning out at the homesteads, Pam had picked 3 5-gallon buckets full of tomatoes, and that's not counting about a half a bushel of various types of cherry tomatoes. I also picked quite a bit of basil. I've got that, most of it hanging to dry. But when you have this many tomatoes, we try to make as much use out of them as we can. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with one of the Dr. Wyche's yellow tomatoes and one of the red beefsteak tomatoes. Since we had so many tomatoes, I've taken one of the black crims and one of the yellow Dr. Wyche's, and I have cut it up and put it on a baking sheet. I'm going to cut up some of the fresh basil that we got, put that on top. I'll then put salt, some fresh ground black pepper on it, and then I'm going to cover it with mozzarella, drizzle a little olive oil, and bake it in the oven. We really like tomatoes fixed this way. It's a great way to make use of this fresh produce. All right, I've got the fresh basil leaves cut up. I'm going to just put some basil leaves, got way more cut up than I needed, but I'm going to put some on the tomatoes. I absolutely love the smell of basil. I wish you could smell the basil right now. It is so fragrant. There's nothing like having fresh herbs in the garden. It's a lot better than what we buy at the grocery store. I know there's not been anything that has been put on these as far as pesticides or anything of that nature. So I have my salt and black pepper on the tomato slices. So now I'm just sprinkling a little bit of grated fresh Parmesan cheese. Unfortunately, it's not homemade. We don't have a dairy cow or even a goat to make cheese from. Maybe in the future we'll consider that. Okay, I have my cheese on. Might as well use all that's on the plate. Maybe you guys don't like a lot of cheese, but I tend to love it. All right, now I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of olive oil over them. Yeah, we want them good and fattening. Now I've got the oven preheated to 400 degrees, and I'm going to put them in the oven and bake them until the cheese is browned. I'll be back with you shortly to show you how they look. Okay, I let the tomatoes bake for about 5 minutes. That melted the cheese. I've decided to broil it to go ahead and brown it. So I now have the oven on broil on high, and they should be done here in a couple of minutes. I'll take them out as soon as they're finished. Okay, the camera might get a little shaky, but the tomato slices are done. It's time to take them out. Let them set for just a second to cool. And then I'll try one for you. They smell really great. Okay, I'm going to let one of them cool on my plate. Since the Dr. Wyche is my favorite tomato, I'm going to start with that one. Put it on a plate here. Gonna let it cool for a few minutes because it would burn my little mouth if I tried it right now straight out of the oven. All right. Okay, my tomatoes cooled and now I'm gonna try a bite. I wanna make sure I get some basil and some cheese. Hold it up high so I don't string it all over myself. It's still a little hot. It is a great way to use heirloom tomatoes. Absolutely fabulous with the basil and the cheese. Wish you could taste it. I'll have to say these tomatoes are really great. I truly enjoyed the fresh grown basil, the flavor on the tomato baked with that cheese. Kind of made me wish that I had maybe chopped up a little pepperoni and put on top of it. Would have certainly have given it a great flavor. It was perfect as it was, but you can always add a little flavor.